Strategic or institutional management is the conduct of drafting, implementing, and evaluating cross-functional decisions that will enable an organization to achieve its long-term objectives. It is the process of specifying the organization's mission, vision, and objectives, developing policies and plans, often in terms of projects and programs which are designed to achieve these objectives, and then allocating resources to implement the policies and plans, projects, and programs. A balanced scorecard is often used to evaluate the overall performance of the business and its progress towards objectives. Strategic management is a level of managerial activity under setting goals and over tactics. Strategic management provides overall direction to the enterprise and is closely related to the field of organization studies. In the field of business administration, it is useful to talk about strategic alignment between the organization and its environment or strategic consistency. There are two interrelated activities of strategic management: strategic planning and strategic execution. Strategic planning is the process by which organization answers such questions as the following: who are we? Who are we going? Who will get there? How do we hope to accomplish? What are the strengths and weaknesses? What are the opportunities and threats in our business environment? It involves developing a written plan that has the following components: an organizational vision, organizational mission, guiding principles, broad strategic objectives, and specific tactics, projects, or activities for achieving the broad objectives. Strategic execution involves implementing strategies set forth in strategic planning, monitoring progress toward their achievement, and adjusting as necessary. It is implementation that achieves maximum efficiency and effectiveness. The Balanced Scorecard (BSC) is a strategic performance management tool, a semi-standard structured report supported by proven design methods and automation tools, can be used by managers to keep track of the execution of activities by staff within their control and monitor the consequences arising from these actions. The core characteristic of the BSC and its derivatives is the presentation of a mixture of financial and non-financial measures, each compared to a target value within a single concise report. The report is not meant to be a replacement for traditional financial or operational reports, rather a succinct summary that captures the information most relevant to those reading it. It is the methods by which this most relevant information is determined, that is, the design processes used to select the content, that most differentiates the various versions of the tool in circulation. BSC's four perspectives: financial, customer, internal business, and innovation and learning. The financial perspective encourages the identification of a few relevant high-level financial measures. The customer perspective encourages the identification of measures that answer the question, how do customers see us? The internal business perspective encourages the identification of measures that answer the question, what must we excel at? The innovation and learning perspective encourages the identification of measures that answer the question, can we continue to improve and create value? Strategic planning process has 6 steps. First, SWOT analysis, then develop vision, develop the mission, develop the guiding principles, develop the broad strategic objectives, and lastly, develop the specific tactics. Conducting the SWOT analysis. The rationale for conducting a SWOT analysis before proceeding with the development of the strategic plan is that the organization's plan should produce a good fit between its internal situation and its external situation. An organization's internal situation is defined by its strengths and weaknesses. An organization's external situation is defined by the opportunities and threats that exist in its business environment. Developing the vision. A vision is like a beacon in the distance toward which the organization is always moving. Everything about the organization, its structure, procedures, and allocation of resources should support the realization of the vision. The first step in articulating an organizational vision is writing it down. This is called the vision statement. Characteristics in writing the vision statement. Easily understood by all stakeholders, briefly stated yet clear and comprehensive in meaning, challenging yet attainable, tangible, and capable of stirring excitement for all stakeholders. A company's mission is its reason for being. The mission often is expressed in the form of a mission statement, which conveys a sense of purpose to employees and projects a company image to customers. In the strategy formulation process, the mission statement sets the mood of where the company should go. Developing the guiding principles. It is the framework within which it will pursue its mission. It may represent the organization's objectives, the foundation of its corporate culture. Objectives are concrete goals that the organization seeks to reach. For example, an earnings growth target. The objective should be challenging but achievable. They also should be measurable so that the company can monitor its progress and make corrections as needed. Broad strategic objectives translate an organization's mission into measurable terms. They represent actual targets the organization aims and will expend energy and resources trying to achieve. It is more specific than the mission, but they are still broad. They still fall into the realm of what rather than how. Once the firm has specified its objectives, it begins with its current situation to devise a strategic plan to reach those objectives. Changes in the external environment often present new opportunities and new ways to reach the objectives. Developing specific tactics for accomplishing the broad strategic objectives. Once a clear picture of the firm and its environment is in hand, specific strategic alternatives can be developed. While different firms have different alternatives depending on their situation, there also exist generic strategies that can be applied across a wide range of firms. Michael Porter identified cost leadership, differentiation, and focus as three generic strategies that may be considered when defining strategic alternatives. Porter advised against implementing a combination of these strategies for a given product. Rather, he argued that only one of the generic strategy alternatives should be pursued. Executing the strategic plan. Execution is a critical component of strategic management, but for some reason, it seldom receives the attention it deserves. The strategy likely will be expressed in high-level conceptual terms and priorities, but for effective implementation, it needs to be translated into more detailed policies that can be understood at the functional level of the organization. The expression of the strategy in terms of functional policies also serves to highlight any practical issues that might not have been visible at a higher level.